I'm Mel.
Is that Hillary?
Yes, it is.
Now, who gave us the best portrayal of the spy who loved me? A great James Bond movie from the 70s. Well, this person had an accent that sounds like a character out of a James Bond movie. Developed a cool application better than 007's Q can make. Nobody does it better. Art Udler. The best portrayal of Uncle Charlie from My Three Sons. Who could this be? Offered sound advice. Usually grumpy. Could be a lot of us so far. But pretty sure the rest of us are crazy. Jim the Photograph! Next up, we have the best portrayal of a character in a horror movie. The suspense is killing it. But this person came back over and over and over better than Michael Myers in Halloween. Was really into dates on the calendar like Friday the 13th and generally any date when something was due. But apparently susceptible to voodoo. Peter Overload. Had a hard time convincing Peter to come to Pittsburgh because he's in voodoo range again. It's kind of like Wi-Fi. But Candy, you did leave the voodoo doll back at your desk. Best portrayal of As Good as It Gets. Personally, this person is super organized and help keep the team organized, well documented, and accountable every single day. But actually much nicer than Jack Nicholson's Melvin. Gosling and Brito. Gandalf. Practiced true wizardry with data. Legit British accent. Who could this be? It sure as hell ain't me. Shouted, "You shall not pass!" a lot until we promised to stop testing transactions one at a time. Dave Isherwood. For those that don't know, this is actually how Jamie and I imagine a reference workload to look like. David's working on it. Best portrayal of?
Elvis. Well, I wonder who.
Lace is as cool as a king, but no lace suspenders are cool. You know, some people say we're made in the image of God, and when I look at myself in the mirror, I say to myself, God must be a really big guy. You know what I mean? So thank you very much, a lot, and done and dusted. Thank you very much. Thank you. Best portrayal of MacGyver. Designed a system out of baling twine, wire, and a few computers. Often said, that's when I usually get called when somebody's in trouble and needs some rescuing. Although he said it with an East Indian accent, which I will not attempt. You're welcome. Everyone agreed he was the good guy. Who could this be? Ravi Anaswamy. He could not be here tonight. I'll be accepting on his behalf. Gatekeeper. Took the job being the gatekeeper between FICO and PNC because it sounded like a noble calling. Brought stability. But did not understand that gatekeeper is also the name of a new roller coaster at Cedar Point with a lot of ups and downs. Poor old Doug Gates. Doug cannot be with us here this evening. Kathy Phillips is accepting on his behalf. Best portrayal of Bachman Turner Overdrive. He was always taking care of business. When you thought he couldn't surprise you with a work ethic or SAS code, you ain't seen nothing yet. How did he get it all done? He stayed awake all night. Jamie Warren, BPO. Best portrayal of Donna Summer. When you want to really know how PNC systems work, she is hot stuff. She works hard for the money. And she worked from the beginning of the party until the last dance. Who is this? Kathy Hayes. All-around system expert. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you very much.
Best portrayal of Trinity from The Matrix. One of the few who understand and communicate the coding of the Strata Matrix. Just like in the movie, when you're in jam, you have to get information from Trinity by phone. After development 1 and development 4 are over, you'll want to take both the red pill and the blue pill. And we're talking about none other than Jackie Willis. Best portrayal of the dynamic duo. When we put the beacon out, they always showed up. They dealt with a bunch of jokers to solve all kinds of system riddles, and they look great in spandex. Well, that's what Sue said they look like. I don't know. I'm taking it. We're talking about Chris Money and Matt Magnet. We won't say who is who.
HR's not here.
Best portrayal of Martha Stewart. Continually brought goodies to keep the team motivated. Known for saying, it's a good thing. Rumored to have used a rolling pin to help credit complete their test. Who could that be? Candy Brody. Best portrayal of the Terminator. He worked like a machine. He terminated defects with extreme prejudice. And when figuring out a defect, he said, I'll be back. A lie. Who's this? Mike Russo. And while Mike couldn't be with us here today, I'm really surprised we can't hear him. Hey, Mike, can you hear me? This is Mike Russo. Okay, Kathy, are you on?
Never ever heard anybody drop that bomb at 2:30 in the morning.
She said none of us can hear anymore.
Best portrayal of the Star Chamber. Like their 17th century counterparts, they sat in judgment of what was acceptable or not according to the laws of underwriting. Their courts were held publicly and evidence was presented in writing. And they argued about who was actually playing the Michael Douglas role. I thought it was you, John. Lou DeFalco, John White, Ron Fudge, and Ken Disney.
not here. Yeah. Oh, Bob Shooter.
Best portrayal of Ferris Bueller. Who could this be? Totally figured out the secret mechanics of the credit bureaus, just like Ferris figured out all the mechanics of life. And once said, requirements are a lot like life. They move around pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss one. Difficult to get on conference calls. Bueller. Bueller.
I'm here.
Could be worse. She answered the third time.
Best portrayal of the Grinches. Really, really small hearts. Mean, nasty. They turn out to be the nice guys in the end because they're always looking out for the best interest of the bank. And we thank them for that. Tim Cogan, Bob Urich, and Bill Grant. And Bill, I made you the one smiling over here too. And tell me that doesn't look like Bob right there. Where is Bob?
I'm not here.
Okay. Best portrayal of Lord of War. Managed money for all this, which was a tough thing to do from time to time. He got the arms dealer, the vendor, to get what we needed when we needed it. And he kept the law off our backs. Law, AKA Jim Catchman. Buffer, key word. Scott LaSalle. Best portrayal of Dorothy. Had to hang out with three guys who lacked a brain, a heart, and courage. Given a huge task to accomplish with one more crazy journey, and had to provide updates to a wizard who claimed he could do all this with sass over the weekend. Kathy Phillips. And it's pretty clear who was lacking the heart, the brain, and courage.
That's a good one. I like that one. You just added this.
The Wizard of Oz. He had a huge task to accomplish. Provided a lot of fire during update sessions. And claimed to have wizardly powers with SAS and other software tools. Actually, the wizard developed, according to the wizard, Strata over the weekend, over a few weekends, using Radio Shack computers to set backup tapes. None other than Jim LeCatchman. And we got Kathy here saying, could you really have done all this in SAS? Once the curtains pulled back. Well, that's it as far as the formal presentation, but I want to turn the floor over to Scott, Kathy, and Jim if y'all like to make any closing comments before we go celebrate at Rivers Casino. But let's give us all, before we do that, one round of applause.
Jim?
I'm happy. But first of all, I noticed that we must have really sunk the budget because Bob has a very small bottle of that. So things have really gotten worse around here.
2 liters empty.
Oh, I didn't notice that one. This has been a journey, to say the least. It's had its ups and downs. But, you know, there's a plaque that's in my office on the wall, and it is the definition of persistence. And I would say all of you could read that plaque and really live up to that definition, because It's only through your persistence and staying with it and getting through whatever the issues were, getting through whatever the discussions were. And discussion, probably using a loose term, is a lot more heated than just discussions at certain points. But I thank you all for all the great effort that you put forward. You know, we are where we are because of your dedication and your persistence, and we greatly appreciate it. And we're on the road. We're down. You know, we've got 2 phases in. We've still got 2 large phases to go. But hey, you know, I think the accomplishments are well deserved. Everyone should have a great time tonight, and really appreciate all the hard work and efforts. So thank you all.
Well, I think we have to take in MIS full responsibility for the interesting journey we've had, for the simple reason that when this group gathered in Philadelphia in August of 2011, we actually let them leave. What we concocted in August looked nothing like what we built. But we started that journey August 2011, and I don't think any of us realized the fabulous journey we were embarking on. It has been exhausting, but it has been of great value to the organization. What we started out to build and what we built were 2 different things, and that goes back to the PNC methodology. You're supposed to have the requirements up front, and Bob assures me that in deployment 4, we will absolutely know all of the requirements up front. So we are going to have a successful deployment 3 and deployment 4, but we had a successful deployment 1 because of each and every one of you. You played an enormous role, and I want to thank you for it. We started out with a sprint, and we realized we were running a marathon, but Jim DeFogia never let us change the pace. So I know that some of you are just amazed that we got to the end. I am just so grateful that we no longer have our 4:30 call every day. That 4:30 15-minute call that usually ended at 6 o'clock with Bob saying done and dusted. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the celebration tonight. Thank you for everyone who put together this wonderful portrayal. It certainly is interesting. The first time in my career I've been compared to Dorothy. I'm usually the Wicked Witch of the West, but and I almost dressed that way, but I didn't want to take away from Shanti's thunder, and it is so true. Many of you may not realize, but Shanti continued her project management role as she gave up her vacation when she was in India and continued to serve us from afar. So thank you to each and every one of you. I'm sorry for those who were not available to be with us here. It kind of reduces the splendor because we wanted to celebrate with the entire team. But be sure and pass on our thanks. Our thanks to our partners from FICO. Joanne, it was a crazy ride, and I'm sure you're excited about deployment 4 as well.
Yeah, I'm going on vacation.
Probably the same way that
Starting Monday, I don't know if I'll be back.
probably the same way that Shanti got to go on vacation. I have one piece of advice as we go into deployment 4. If we get to a point where Jim DeFogia is hollering at us, and we will, although he is moving on, remember that whatever it is, Scott approved it, and Scott promised it would be funded, but not out of the MIS budget. Thanks, guys.
Well, since I go last and I'm holding you up for the casino, I'll be quick. You know, this is probably the most complex project I've worked on in 20-odd years of working. And it worked because of everybody in the room and who's not here, fantastic. You know, even though I'm leaving, the hardest decision about leaving was the people and everyone here. The FICO team was great. I mean, this project will be indelibly burned in my brain. The 2 o'clock emails of Chris Hester and Jamie testing, UAT at all hours of the night, the meetings with Jim from 4:30 to 7. But it was great. It was a great learning experience for me personally. So I thank all of you for that, and it was a great job by all of you. So sorry there's just so few of us tonight, but let's enjoy ourselves and head on over, and thanks.
There's 30 people tonight.
There's like 40 is what I submitted.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And
You
there's
know.
90 drinks.
You can get that drink.
90, and by the way, yeah, anyway, that'll buy a lot of Red Bull and vodka. Diet Red Bull, Chris, where are you?
Gotta work later.
It's always better working that way. Anyway, and by the way, where's Noah? Like a good sales guy, never here when you need him.
I think he was afraid you'd expect him to pull out his credit card if he was here.
No, this is going in our cost center. Besides, if he pays, we pay for it eventually.
That's,
All right.
Where do we convene, where do we
Yeah.
convene for dinner?
Dinner's at 5:30 at the Grand